The GSW playoffs are about to begin. The NBA playoffs. I apologize for my mistake. It's not a good way to start off a video, and I apologize. Okay. So now that the GSW playoffs are... I did it again. Let me start all over from the beginning, and it'll be better. Okay. The NBA playoffs are about to begin. They are right around the corner. I believe they start tomorrow. And the reason why I'm excited to watch the Golden State Warriors playoffs, the NBA playoffs, is because of LeBron James no longer being a presence in the Eastern Conference. I think the predictability has died down a little bit because the last 4 years it's really been pointless to watch any of my videos for NBA. Because why would you waste time just for me to tell you something that you already know and something that you already should have known? So, moving on to the picks of the Golden State Warriors playoff predictions. The NBA playoff predictions. This is going to be pretty short. I don't want to kind of extend this video for a long period of time. I'm going to keep it inside of 7 to 8 minutes. So here we go. The Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Clippers. Easiest pick of the NBA playoffs. Golden State in 4. Moving on. Houston Rockets and Utah Jazz. I think out of all 8 first-round playoff series, this is going to be the best one because I think this goes all the way to 7 games. I think they're going to go tit for tat with each other. The Rockets will win the first 2, Jazz win the next 2, Houston wins Game 3, Utah wins Game 6 at home to keep the season alive. But in the end, I think the Houston Rockets, they take advantage of having Game 7 on their home court. And I think the Rockets move on to face Golden State. Next, we have the Portland Trailblazers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. And this is my first upset of the playoffs. I think the Thunder, they beat the Trailblazers in 6 games. At the end of the day, I think the Thunder bench is going to be a huge difference in this series. I think they move on to face the winner of the Denver Nuggets and the San Antonio Spurs. The Nuggets, they have really flown under the radar this season. They've been underestimated, and I think they're going to prove the doubters wrong on the national stage. I think the Nuggets, they move on in 7 games to face the Thunder. So next, we're on to the Eastern Conference side of things. The Milwaukee Bucks and the Detroit Pistons. Here comes another upset of mine, but it's not really an upset. I have the Bucks winning this series, but I think it's going to take 6 games to get it done. I think there's going to be a game or 2 where Detroit dominates, and I think Detroit then wins the second game. That's going to be very close. I think in one of those games, Giannis is going to have an off night. In that second game that they lose, I think it's going to be kind of a whole team has an off night that wins very closely. I think it's going to be a close game in one of them, and the other game it's going to be kind of a blowout where the whole team has a bad night, off night. I think the Bucks move on in 6. I think the Pistons put up a good fight, but I think they get eliminated in 6 games. Next, we have the Boston Celtics and the Indiana Pacers. I think this is going to be a series where the Pacers, they're going to miss Victor Oladipo. I think the Celtics, I think they seize the moment because they know they could have made the NBA Finals last year if Kyrie didn't get hurt for the playoffs and if Gordon Hayward didn't get hurt in the first game of the season last year. So I think the Celtics move on. I think they take it in 5. Moving on to the Philadelphia 76ers and the Brooklyn Nets. And why do we have to have this matchup in the first round? Both these teams, they're young teams that are on the rise. They have the same style of play, in my opinion. Both these teams, they're a young team that has potential to really have a big name for themselves one of these days. But I unfortunately think this is the 76ers' time. I think the 76ers, they win it in 6 games. At the end of the day, I just think the 76ers, I think they're going to outmatch Brooklyn towards the end of the series, and I think the Nets are going to get worn down by Game 6. I think the Sixers move on. Next, we have the Toronto Raptors and the Orlando Magic. It's nice to see the Magic back in the playoffs. I think it's going to be a good thing for Orlando, but I think it's going to be a short stay. I think the Raptors, they win this series in 5 games. Moving on to the second round now, the Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets. No surprise here, but I have the Warriors moving on. But I think it takes 7 games again because I think the NBA is going to want to rig this one to make the series interesting, make it seem watchable. In reality, it really wouldn't. I think the Warriors move on in 7 games. And with Oklahoma City and Denver, I think the Denver Nuggets move on to the conference final. I think they beat the Thunder in 5 games. Moving on to the Eastern Conference side, the Milwaukee Bucks and the Boston Celtics. And here comes another upset. I have the Boston Celtics beating the Milwaukee Bucks in this series in 7 games. I think the Celtics pull off the upset, move on to the conference final. I just think the Celtics, they're a team that's motivated this season. They want to get back to the NBA Finals because who knows what could have happened if Kyrie and Gordon Hayward were healthy the whole season. They probably would have gone to the NBA Finals last year. And next we have the Philadelphia 76ers and the Toronto Raptors. And I think it's going to be a good series as well. But at the end of it, I think the 76ers, they seize the moment. They win it in 6 games to move on to the conference final. So on to the Western Conference Final, we have the Golden State Warriors and the Denver Nuggets. And the Denver Nuggets, they have proved doubters wrong all season long. But unfortunately, the Golden State Warriors are just going to be too good, too lethal for the Nuggets to keep up with. I think the Warriors win it in 4 games. Clean sweep to get to the NBA Finals. And the Eastern Conference side, the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers. Both these teams, I think it's going to be a gauntlet between those two to win the Eastern Conference throughout the next decade on a consistent basis. But I think this is going to be the Boston Celtics' time. I think they move on to the NBA Finals to face the Warriors. So moving on to the NBA Finals, just to get it out of the way, really no surprise. I have the Golden State Warriors beating the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals in 4 games. Another clean sweep. Golden State three-peats. What a fun video, guys. So, thank you for tuning in the whole time. I appreciate those that actually watched the whole thing this time around, because I don't really blame anybody if they didn't watch this video, because really we know what's going to happen. I'm not going to BS anybody. I'm really not, because I'm not just going to sit here and say that the Warriors aren't going to win the NBA Finals when they are. Like I said, I don't want to BS anybody, because the whole question coming into this video was going to be, who do I have getting swept by the Warriors in the finals? That's really what the whole video was about. And I have it being the Boston Celtics. Because the Boston Celtics, I think it's kind of, compensation of having Kyrie and Gordon Hayward miss the playoffs last year. Because they could have gotten the NBA Finals. Maybe they would have if they were healthy. In fact, I think they would have. So, thank you for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.